My name's Ethan Cole, and I've been fishing since I was 8 years old. I grew up in northern Minnesota, surrounded by woods, lakes, and silence. Fishing was my escape, my therapy after my father died when I was 15. He used to take me to the same lake every summer, Black Hollow Lake. Locals used to say the lake was cursed. They said if you listened closely on a still night, the water whispered your name. As a kid, I laughed it off, but after what happened last fall, I don't laugh anymore. I haven't been fishing since. It started with a message from my old friend Travis, who'd moved to Duluth. We hadn't spoken in years, but out of nowhere, he texted, "Bro, I found a perfect fishing spot, hidden, deep woods, real quiet. You'll love it." He sent a pin right over Black Hollow Lake. I stared at it for a while, my stomach tightening. I hadn't been back there since my dad's accident. He drowned in that lake. They said it was a boating accident, but I'd always felt something else happened. His body was found tangled in weeds near the middle of the lake, his face frozen in a silent scream. Still, I missed fishing. So against my better judgment, I replied, "I'm in." That Saturday, early morning, the fog was thick, rolling off the water like smoke. Travis had brought his cousin Mark and an old aluminum boat. As we loaded our gear, I noticed something strange. The usual sounds of morning, birds, insects, rustling leaves, were gone. The air felt hollow. Only the sound of water lapping softly against the dock broke the silence. "Damn, feels like a horror movie out here," Mark laughed. "Yeah," Travis replied, grinning. "Wait till you see the fish we catch." We pushed off from shore. The lake stretched before us, dark, still, and endless. But as we paddled deeper, the fog thickened, swallowing the trees behind us until it felt like we were floating in a void. We set our lines, cracked open a couple of beers, and waited. For a while it was peaceful, almost nostalgic. Then something yanked my line hard enough to nearly pull me overboard. "Holy hell!" I shouted, gripping my rod. Whatever was on the other end was strong. It fought with jerks and twists that didn't feel natural. After nearly 10 minutes, I managed to pull it up. It wasn't a fish. It was a rotting deer skull tangled in fishing line. The eye socket stared at me, empty, dripping lake water. Mark groaned. "Man, that's messed up." Travis frowned. "Probably from hunters dumping remains." But as he said it, something small and wet slapped against my boot. I looked down, a dead fish, headless, its body still twitching. I looked at the water. Ripples spread in slow circles. Then I heard it, just barely, a faint whisper. "Ethan."
I froze. "Did you hear that?" "Hear what?" Mark asked, still laughing. I didn't answer. The whisper had come from the direction of the deer skull.
4. The Drowned Cabin. Around noon, we decided to row toward the other end of the lake. There was something in the distance, half submerged, covered in moss. As we got closer, I realized it was an old cabin, sunken halfway into the water. The windows were black holes, and a wooden sign barely clung to the wall. Camp Hollow, 1954. Travis's eyes lit up. "Let's check it out." "Dude, are you serious? That thing's falling apart." But he was already rowing toward it. The closer we got, the colder the air felt. Even the fog seemed thicker here, like it was alive. We tied the boat to a beam and climbed onto the warped deck. The wood creaked under our weight. Inside, everything was rotted and soaked. Chairs floated in inches of water. A rusty lantern hung from the ceiling, swaying slightly, even though there was no wind. Then Mark found something. A small photo album, bloated and moldy. He flipped through it, and we saw old black and white pictures of smiling kids holding fishing poles. Then, the last few pages were smeared with dark stains. The final photo showed the same cabin, except there were shadows standing behind the kids. Dozens of them. Their faces were blurred, but their eyes, if you could call them that, looked hollow and black. Probably a trick of the light, Travis muttered, closing the book quickly. But as he did, the lantern above us flickered on by itself. And in that flickering light, we saw wet footprints forming on the floor, leading from the back room straight toward us.
5. The voice beneath the water. We ran back to the boat. Mark was laughing nervously. That was wild, man. Probably rats or something. But when we untied the rope, something tugged it from below. Hard. The boat rocked violently. Travis grabbed the rope and pulled, but it wouldn't budge. Then, out of nowhere, bubbles rose beside the boat, dozens at once, like something was breathing beneath us. The water bulged, then went still. And that's when we heard it again, clear this time. "Ethan, come back." The voice was female, soft and close. My heart froze. That voice, it sounded like my mother. She had died 3 years ago. I looked into the water, and for a split second, I saw a pale face staring up at me from the depths, eyes wide, hair floating around like seaweed. I screamed. Travis yelled, "Go! Go!" and started rowing like a madman. We didn't stop until we reached the far side of the lake.
6. The night falls. The sun dipped behind the trees, and with it came a heavy darkness. We planned to stay overnight, but I wanted to leave. The fog was too thick, and we couldn't find the dock. The GPS kept glitching, showing random coordinates that didn't make sense. So we set up a small campfire near the shore and tried to relax. Mark cracked another beer, trying to lighten the mood. But the moment he did, a wet handprint appeared on his can. He dropped it instantly. We all stared. The print was small, like a child's hand. "Okay, this isn't funny anymore," he whispered. Then from across the lake came the faint sound of children laughing. Soft, distant, and wrong. It echoed over the water, carrying through the fog. Travis grabbed a flashlight and pointed it toward the sound. For a second, the beam caught something. A small figure, standing knee-deep in the water. It was a little girl, pale as milk, her dress soaked and clinging to her skin. "Who's there?" Travis shouted. The girl slowly lifted her arm and pointed directly at me. "He belongs to the lake." 7. The drowning. We ran for the boat, but the fog was so thick we couldn't tell where the water ended. The girl's voice followed us, whispering words I couldn't understand. When we finally reached the boat, the water had gone eerily calm again. We paddled as fast as we could. That's when Mark suddenly screamed. I turned, and he was gone. His fishing chair was empty. His line dangled over the edge, bubbles rising beneath it. "Mark!" Travis yelled. He leaned over the edge, shining his light. Then something yanked him forward, dragging him into the dark. His flashlight spiraled down into the water before winking out. I was alone. The boat spun slowly, the fog closing in around me. And then, a hand broke the surface, then another. Dozens of pale hands reaching up from below, gripping the sides of the boat. I screamed and swung my oar wildly, hitting arms that felt too cold to be human. The boat tipped. I fell into the water. It was like falling into ice. The moment I hit, I felt arms wrapping around me, pulling me down. I opened my eyes and saw faces. Men, women, children, all staring, mouths open in silent screams. One of them was my father.
His eyes were empty. He reached for me, mouthing the words, "You shouldn't have come back." I kicked free and swam upward, breaking the surface just as lightning flashed overhead. I don't remember how I reached the shore. I just remember running until I saw headlights on a distant road. When I told the police, they searched the lake for 3 days. They found the boat upside down, tangled in weeds. They never found Travis or Mark. But they did find something else, an old photo album floating near the shore. The same one from the cabin, except now there were 3 new figures standing with the kids in the photo. 2 adult men and 1 partially faded figure standing behind them. Me. I don't know how that's possible, but every night since then, I've heard it again, when the wind dies down, when the world is quiet. Ethan! Sometimes I wake up gasping for air, my sheets soaked as if I've just climbed out of the lake. I haven't gone fishing again, but part of me wonders, if I went back to Black Hollow Lake, would I find them waiting for me? Would my father finally tell me what really happened that night?